while ago when T.I.'s son King was getting a lot of flack and a lot of heat in the media, that to me he just looked like a young kid that wanted to prove to his father that he was a man.
I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I'm going. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his going to prison?
I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no mystery about
I know you though.
Man,
I know you though.
King Harris's world just flipped upside down after Tiny hit T.I. with divorce papers, and the timing couldn't be more explosive. She just couldn't stand the fact that T.I. completely disowned King after his wild arrest, and now the entire family is crumbling under the pressure. Everyone's pointing fingers, and the tension is tearing the Harris household apart like never before. The big question flying around is, who's really at fault here? Are the parents who spoiled King with everything money could buy to blame? Or is King the one who tossed it all away just to play gangster and chase that street life? Either way, the family drama is out in the open and nobody's holding back anymore. What really shook fans is that T.I. isn't even trying to fight for his marriage. No effort to make things right, no move to fix the damage, just cold silence. And for a couple that's been together for decades, that's shocking. They survived scandals, reality TV drama, and endless rumors, but this latest blow-up after King's arrest was the breaking point. It all went down in October 2024, when King's reckless behavior finally caught up to him. He pulled out of a gas station in his flashy BMW, driving so recklessly he almost smashed into a police car. And what the cops discovered after pulling him over made the whole mess spiral out of control. The officers walked up and immediately caught the stench of weed seeping out the car. Then, plain as day, they spotted a gun tucked right into King's waistband. At that moment, it was already looking real bad for him. They snatched the gun, cuffed him on the spot, and ran his name.
All right, I need you to step out the vehicle.
What you want to do? You want to take my gun off my hair?
Yes, sir.
There's one in the head.
Does your buddy have one as well?
Gun off my head.
All right, just hang tight right here for me. Let me clear this. I don't want any accidental fires.
There's no safety. You got to take it.
There's no safety.
Just take
Okay.
it out.
Well, I'm not going to mess around with that too much. Let me just set this down right here. Dude, step out for me. Yes, sir. Place your hands behind your back for me. All right, right now you're just being detained. You're not under arrest.
You straight?
I'm going to be at the church. All right, I appreciate you being cool, man. We're just going to take a look at this information, make sure it's valid.
I ain't sure of this.
Just take a step to the side for me.
But what popped up next? That's when Jaws dropped, an outstanding arrest warrant from 2022, overspeeding, driving on a suspended license, and a DUI. It was like a laundry list of bad decisions coming back to haunt him. King could have walked away from that night without adding another scar to his record if he had just chilled out, but nope. All his past mistakes came crashing down like a tidal wave, and once that arrest footage leaked online, the internet went absolutely savage on him. The world got a front row seat to watch King Harris stumble into his biggest downfall yet. What really stood out in that 30-minute video wasn't his usual loudmouthed antics, it was his silence. You could literally see the regret in his eyes. For once, the wild and reckless King actually seemed to understand he had pushed it too far. Instead of acting out, he kept calm, probably realizing that the only thing that could save him now was staying cool and cooperating. And for somebody like King, who usually thrives on chaos, that must have taken everything in him not to blow up. Even the cop was caught off guard by how composed he stayed through the whole arrest. But let's be real, his calmness didn't change a thing. He still got booked into DeKalb County Jail, only to be transferred later to Pickens County once his old warrant was recalled. And when the video hit the internet, fans showed no mercy in the comments section. One person clowned him, calling him a trust fund prison punk, and the internet ate it up with thousands of likes. Another blasted him, saying he thinks his parents' money can save him, but he want to act like he came from the struggle. That one stung because it hit right at the heart of his whole fake street image. But the fallout didn't just land on King. Oh no, it tore right through his parents' marriage too. All those cracks we mentioned earlier, they blew wide open. I tried to paint himself as the broken-hearted father watching his son spiral, but Tiny wasn't buying it. She came with receipts. In her divorce filings, she straight up pointed to King's downfall as the final straw that ended their decades-long relationship. And the most shocking part? T.I. didn't even fight back. He didn't beg, didn't argue. He just shrugged it off like he had already washed his hands of King's mess. In his eyes, he did his part as a father, and now King had to deal with the consequences all on his own. As cold as it might sound, T.I. saw this train wreck coming long before it exploded. Back in 2022, when King first started going viral for his reckless stunts, T.I. hopped online practically begging his son to slow down. He warned him straight up, "Keep this up and you're gonna end up in jail." He even admitted that he had been telling Tiny and King's grandmother the exact same thing.
Hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas, his ass going to prison. If you got to keep that up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had that conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Cause I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn out.
In his mind, the whole family needed to keep their eyes on King if they didn't want to watch him throw his future straight in the trash. And I wasn't just saying it as a rapper preaching on social media, he was speaking from experience. He knew the inside of a jail cell all too well, and he didn't want to see his own son follow that same cycle. But instead of giving him credit, Tiny flipped the script. She turned those warnings into ammo in her divorce filings. Tiny argued that if T.I. had really stepped up as a father and been present instead of popping in and out, King wouldn't have spiraled so far out of control. And let's be honest, Tiny wasn't entirely wrong. By the time she found out she was pregnant with King, T.I. was already in and out of prison. So when King was growing up, the reality was simple. His dad wasn't around. Even when T.I. came home for good, he allegedly kept shipping King off to live with his grandmother. King himself even revealed that despite his parents' wealth, he didn't grow up dripping in money like people think. Living at his grandma's, he wasn't spoiled with luxury, and the only time he actually got to step foot in his parents' mansion was when the cameras were rolling for their reality show. Imagine that. Your childhood home basically being a TV set. With a setup like that, it's no surprise King went looking for validation in the streets. Every wild antic pulled him further and further from the golden child image and closer to a mugshot. And if people thought the arrest was his first big crash out, they were wrong. Fans had already seen the warning signs loud and clear during his infamous Waffle House meltdown in 2022. All it took was a messed up order, some extra pickles he didn't ask for, and King completely lost it in front of everyone.
Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my pocket right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Tell your mama Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. File show. Come back. What? On game what? On game what? Come here. I'll show you what I do. Come here, I'll show you what I do. Come here.
And believe it or not, that pickle incident was all it took for King to snap. He jumped straight into a screaming match with the Waffle House worker, and of course, he made sure to record the whole messy scene and blast it on social media. But instead of looking hard or street, the video backfired. People saw him as nothing more than a spoiled kid throwing a tantrum.
GOAT reasons you've gone viral. I graduated. That's the only good thing they posted of me going viral.
The best one for me is King Latifah.
Teeth Keith. I ain't never get my t-shirts made. Teeth
Hey,
shirts.
well, to tell you the truth, yeah,
It's a lot easier when we're living under one roof. Now we just have to schedule time to have talks like this.
What's up?
I was trying to get to the bottom of things with King, trying to see if he
Huh?
Whoa.
Where you coming out with the word?
Because King got a little friend, and he be in love, like he's a lover boy.
Yeah,
No, I'm not. I'm a virgin.
It's other things.
that between him and his poem. Let him and his poem have the best time of their life.
Now I ain't talking about no phone.
What is you talking about?
A girl is involved.
And the internet instantly started questioning why T.I. ever let his son run so wild in the first place.
You was an orphan.
I was never an orphan. That was Batman. That's Batman's story. I'm a grandma boy.
Man,
I like to be in the neighborhood.
Yep, I'm glad
with the kids
I'm
outside.
glad you wanted to go over there.
Yeah.
You made it seem like we were sending you over there.
No.
You cried and cried and cried when you couldn't go over there.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
used to always say, King, stay home, stay home. Man, you would hold your breath, turn red in the face.
Look, we done got big house, big yard, nothing to do.
That's when you learn and create your own entertainment.
I was outside. I want to play football, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of one that I was.
But you wouldn't be from the ghetto, so.
So when T.I. later posted that video warning King about his reckless path, Tiny went off. In her eyes, all that lecturing should have been done years ago, not after their son had already embarrassed himself in front of the world. Sure, things cooled down between them for a minute, but T.I.'s disappointment in King never really went away. And that frustration ended up exploding during a heated moment at an Atlanta Falcons game. King had made comments about not growing up privileged, trying to push the narrative that he came from the struggle. That was the last straw for T.I. He stepped in fast to shut that down, reminding King that he literally grew up with everything handed to him. King wasn't trying to hear it though, and before anybody knew what was happening, father and son were throwing blows right there in public. The clip of the fight spread online within hours, racking up thousands of views and reactions. People couldn't believe how brutal it looked. T.I. wasn't holding back at all, almost forgetting he was swinging on his own son.
Make him look better. He said he know not true. Silver spoon. I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, Tip used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the fight.
Cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every day.
I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no
Though.
mystery about here.
I know you though. I know you though.
Shut up.
I know you though. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business.
Fans on social media lit up the comments, with many actually praising T.I. for finally disciplining King. One person wrote, "He should have busted his behind years ago. That's an overdue library book right there." Another commented, "When you don't check your kid early, they'll turn on you later." Others simply said, "King's been out of control. Pray for that family." But not everyone was cheering. Tiny, for one, was furious. She hated the fact that T.I. let things go so far and publicly humiliated their son in front of the world. And when she came home to find out that T.I. had actually kicked King out of the house to fend for himself, that was the breaking point. In her eyes, he had taken it way too far. That decision cracked their marriage wide open, and it was the very move that pushed her to finally cut T.I. off for good. Another bomb Tiny dropped in those divorce papers was T.I.'s constant cheating and violent past. For years, she sat back watching him step out on their marriage, only for him to come back home spinning the same tired lines about how he was changing. But those lies piled up higher than ever, and by the time King spiraled into his own mess, Tiny wasn't just mad at her son, she was staring straight at the man who raised him, realizing the cycle had never been broken. That's why she finally cut T.I. off once and for all. What broke her completely was the painful realization that King wasn't even carving out his own lane. He was retracing his father's steps, copying the same jail stints that once gave T.Y. his so-called tough guy reputation.
You can talk to me. Until then, ain't nothing going. Call who you need to call, do what you need to do. Ain't nothing happening. No money, no beers, no partying, no sections, nothing. You put me and mine on the motherfucking flyer, give me everything. And if you can't, don't play with me. I don't know if y'all from here, but don't play with me in this city. My motherfucking don't play with me in this city.
It was like watching history repeat itself, only this time, the cost was her own child. So when T.I. coldly disowned King after his arrest, Tiny snapped. To her, he wasn't just turning his back on his son, he was rejecting his own reflection. And King's desperation for his father's approval has been on full display for years. Look at how he constantly flexes guns online like it's his favorite accessory. After that arrest footage went viral, some people even speculated that King wanted to get locked up just to add jail time to his resume and finally earn some street cred. Others argued he had finally proven himself as rugged and earned the title he'd been chasing for years. And then there were those who said the obvious, King is simply pulling all these stunts to force attention and respect out of his dad. And maybe they were right, because it did work, for a moment at least. Remember when T.I. and Boosie had to check their sons on camera? King and Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, were supposed to be filming a music video. But instead of focusing on the music, they were busy showing off their guns like they were posted up in a trap house. That's when the dad stepped in, and you could hear the frustration in T.Y.'s voice as he confronted King.
Those motherfucking 12 pull up and they say, hey, who do you belong to? Who raised their hand? Somebody got to raise their hand. I've been seeing him around too here a lot. You gonna raise your own hand? I've been seeing him around too. But when you got drugs, it ain't like it ain't. Y'all got drugs around those legal guns. That called it's not legal. Possession of a firearm and commission of a crime, sir. That is a felony. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. He demanded to know why his son was more focused on looking tough than actually enjoying himself, especially with girls standing right there. What was meant to be a fun shoot turned into a full-blown lecture, with T.I. calling his son out for chasing the wrong image yet again. I didn't sugarcoat it. He laid it out plain. One slip up with those guns or getting caught with something illegal, and both King and Tootie's lives could be destroyed in a second. He and Boosie weren't cracking jokes either. You could feel the weight in their tone as they tried to drill some sense into their sons. On the outside, it seemed like T.I. was finally stepping up, trying to make his son understand that the path he was chasing was nothing but a one-way ticket to jail. But when Tiny found out what happened, she wasn't clapping for him. In fact, she was furious. And it wasn't because she condoned King flexing guns and acting like he was straight out the trap. It was because in her eyes, T.I. was late to the party. King was only mimicking the same things he'd grown up watching his father do. But what really sent Tiny over the edge wasn't the guns or the lectures. It was King's baby mama drama. The moment T.I. proudly announced on a podcast that he was about to become a grandfather again because King had a baby on the way, Tiny nearly lost it. To her, it sounded like T.I. was hyping up King's reckless behavior instead of calling it what it was. A messy situation spiraling out of control, and messy it was.
I became a father, so I got 2 grandchildren now.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, I got 2 granddaughters. I got a grandson on the way.
Wow.
King's about to have a son.
King's about to have a son. Congrats.
Yeah. And I told him I'm gonna make this the greatest gangster of all times. I will raise this child to torture you the way that you tortured me. I promise you, there will be an indictment in this young one.
Some plant-based.
Plant-based?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She said that helped with her baby.
Rumors swirled heavy about King's baby mama, Big Nana. Whispers online claimed she was much older than him, and some even suggested she got with King strictly for the bag, knowing he was too young and too naive to catch on. But King, he didn't care one bit. He was hyped, bragging nonstop about stepping into fatherhood.
People hit me up like, King, I know you tired, you ain't getting no sleep, and the truth be told, before this look, I ain't been getting no sleep. You know what I'm saying? I just been outside working, lifestyle. Lifestyle just lifing. You know what I'm saying? And but now I'm damn sure not getting no sleep. This up every morning, and then around the morning time, he like to do that little live concert I be doing with him. And he like to walk around the house. So
I said my hair probably looks terrible.
no, it don't, baby.
Yes, it do. Yes, it do. Say, Mama, your hair looks terrible.
Hey, boy.
King,
They ain't
look over
having
me.
it.
I thought you said just the baby.
No, it was both of
You might
y'all.
well tell us to take a
When their son finally arrived in November 2024, King was glowing like never before. He plastered his socials with posts, proudly calling himself a dad. He even dropped a track titled Dear Son, where he rapped about stepping up, captioning it with the exact moment his boy was born. November 5th, 8:09 a.m., welcome King Jr., time to take over. For a brief second, people thought fatherhood might have calmed him down. It looked like King was finally ready to level up, with the responsibility of a newborn making him act more mature. Tiny especially wanted to believe this was his turning point. That maybe, just maybe, becoming a father would finally teach King the discipline that years of warnings never could. At first, people thought fatherhood was going to ground King, but the calm didn't last long at all. Within weeks of his son being born, King was back on social media, stirring chaos. Instead of keeping a low profile, he was jumping on Instagram Live, arguing with trolls, flashing money, and still showing off weapons like he hadn't learned a thing. Fans started questioning if his Dear Son track was just a front to make himself look grown, when in reality he was still addicted to clout. What made things worse was the way King handled criticism. Anytime somebody suggested he focus on his child instead of the streets, he lashed out, calling people haters and accusing them of being jealous of his fame. But behind the scenes, his priorities were clearly all over the place. He was spending more time making noise online than actually being a dad. Even Tiny, who had been holding out hope that the baby might change him, was forced to admit that King wasn't slowing down, he was doubling down. And the public wasn't buying his family man image either. Rumors began swirling that he was barely spending time with his newborn, instead bouncing from party to party while leaving most of the responsibility to Big Nana. That sparked even more gossip because people already questioned her motives, and now it looked like she was the one left carrying the real weight while King chased validation from strangers online. The situation grew so tense that even T.I. tried to step back into the picture, warning King that fatherhood wasn't a game. But by that point, King wasn't listening to anyone. To him, the attention was addictive. Every viral moment gave him more of what he craved, even if it dragged his name through the mud. What shocked people most was how quickly King's role as a young father turned into just another piece of drama in the Harris family saga. Instead of being the blessing that pulled everyone back together, it became another reminder of how broken things had become. The same way T.I.'s bad decisions once haunted him, King's reckless behavior was now rewriting the Harris family legacy, and this time the whole world was watching in real time. For Tiny, the only silver lining in all this mess was watching King step into fatherhood and at least try to be present for his son. In her eyes, it felt like he was finally correcting the mistakes T.I. made when King was just a baby. But the timing couldn't have been more twisted. While King was proudly posting about being a dad, his arrest video was circling the internet like wildfire, reminding everyone that no matter how many diapers he changed, he was still neck deep in legal trouble. T.I. tried his best to play the supportive father through it all, but the cracks in his patience showed. That disappointment kept leaking out, and for Tiny, that was unforgivable. She had overlooked cheating rumors, violent outbursts, and even T.I.'s cold way of handling King in the past. But now, the fact that he was so embarrassed by his own son that he didn't even want to live under the same roof with him.
I don't think Tip realizes that King is really serious about creating music. I mean, we want all our kids to get out there and do what they do. But as a parent, you're torn because you want to make sure they keep their ass in school and get good grades.
I'm getting mad, bro. What you getting mad at?
Because
what?
Stop rushing me.
King a little sassy, man.
He's just nervous.
King, why are you aggravated? Because this is the show business. It ain't that.
That was the breaking point. That totally shattered her trust, her marriage, and her willingness to keep defending him in public. So when those divorce papers finally hit the table, nobody in their circle was surprised. For outsiders, it may have looked sudden, but for people who had been paying attention, it was clear this family had been on the verge of collapse for years. Tiny was finished, done covering, done excusing, and done holding together a marriage that had already crumbled behind the scenes. Now the real question is, what happens next? T.I. has built his whole reputation on being a leader, a businessman, and a family man. But if he continues to stay silent the same way he went quiet when King's chaos exploded, then the Harris legacy might already be done for. The internet is waiting, the fans are watching, and every move he makes now will decide whether he rebuilds or lets the empire fall apart completely. But hey, that's all I got for you on this messy situation. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more explosive stories just like this. And don't go anywhere. The next video on your screen is packed with even more wild celebrity drama you do not want to miss. See you there.